Vince McMahon heavily involved in worst Raw after WrestleMania. We'll get into it. Plus, we have an update on the backstage morale following Vince McMahon's return to creative. Plus, amongst all that, there were big returns and a heel turn on last night's Raw. Forget DX and the NWO being wheeled out and the Ruthless Aggression Raw set being put up. This was a real old school Raw last night.
You
Ross.
mean old school in terms of going back to the start of last year before something happened where somebody had to leave the company, then that certain person came back last night and it's gone back to what it was before.
That's it. Old school, old school, old school. We'll get into what went down and some of the stuff from behind the scenes in a moment. Before we do, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer confirming a lot of, I don't want to say fears, but fears.
Fears, yeah.
What's been said, Ross?
He's back in charge. Who is he? It's not Voldemort. It might as well be, though, because it's Vince McMahon. He was running TV tonight. He's back. It will be what it was before. Paul will be head of creative, so he's going to be doing the busy work and all of that stuff. Vince is going to have the final say on everything, and I am done with life.
Oh, I know it sucks. Good job, I printed off extra versions.
Thank you.
There we go. Vince McMahon personally and very heavily involved with last night's episode of Monday Night Raw. This was confirmed by PW Insider. This comes in the wake of the news that WWE have been sold to Endeavour, and they, along with UFC, will merge to form a new sports and entertainment giant. Big part of the puzzle for this new jigsaw is Vince McMahon essentially back where he was before.
It's heartbreaking because Triple H kicks off last night's Raw speech, thanking the superstars, thanking the fans, thanking everybody for a lovely WrestleMania weekend. Nothing's going to change. The WWE we all love, it's not going anywhere. Then, now, forever together. But now behind the scenes it has regressed and things have gone back to what they were before, Tom.
That Freaking Wrestling podcast, they put out a concerning tweet during the show. They were sat just behind the production desk where at least 3 run sheets were given to them within an hour. And PW Insider confirmed that, yes, about 20 minutes before Raw went live on air, a number of late rewrites for the episode were ordered. Described as not feeling like the type of changes that talent and staff had come to expect under Paul Levesque. Changes for the episode continued as the show was well into being on the air, and we were told they came directly from Vince McMahon, who had his own office at Raw, just as he did before his retirement in the summer of 2022. Sean Ross Sapp said some of those changes from the run sheet that they had included. There was meant to be a couple of triple threat matches to confirm.
Ladies, yes.
Yes, to confirm new women's tag champs, and instead we just got a very quick match between Damage Control and Morgan and Raquel Gonzalez.
Suspiciously quick, Tom, because Bayley put out a tweet, which I'm sure Owen will put up there, which is like the greatest love story ever can come to a horrible conclusion, something along those lines, and then Bayley wasn't on Raw with Dakota Kai and Io Sky, and more importantly, I think, more tellingly, wasn't even mentioned. She was at WrestleMania. She had a match at WrestleMania, not even mentioned by name, while her stablemates are out there wrestling.
But in the spirit of this old school Raw, reports say that Bayley was indeed at Raw, but last minute it was the decision was made to take Bayley off the show in favour of just having Io Sky and Dakota Kai go out there and lose, as you say, pretty quick. Now, PW Insider is told that the night started with Paul Levesque on the headset running Raw. As the show went on, Vince McMahon just sort of snaked closer and closer, like the most evil game of red light, green light you've ever seen.
Daddy's home.
And by the end of the night, Vince McMahon was very much at the gorilla position, headset on, getting more and more involved in the show and directly overseeing the proceedings throughout.
Yeah, among some talents we spoke with, this is PW Insider's report continuing, there was a huge negative shift in morale as they realised things were going back to exactly what they were before Paul Levesque was placed in control as Chief Content Officer, which he was referred to in his little name slate when he was making his way down to the ring quite interestingly. Has that thing now changed? Maybe? I don't know.
I imagine that if they changed his title already, then that would have probably seen more of a kickoff than there currently was.
Yeah. One source said that the place felt nuked. That's nuked. But others didn't go that far. The feeling was going forward. The likelihood was that McMahon was going to be overseeing everything again, leaving the creative once again to his whims and sensibilities, although whether that actually plays out remains to be seen.
Big part of that feeling of resignation, according to PW Insider, is that Paul Levesque genuinely is very liked backstage. Like, he's very much seen as a guy who's been there and done that and has a passion for what WWE very much used to be about. Something that he's also got a penchant and a passion for long-term storytelling, which we've seen play out over the months leading up to WrestleMania. So many people that came through the NXT system have so much love for Triple H, as he was there from their inception to now. And for some, that feeling of security seems to have gone, which is a shame, because between SummerSlam and WrestleMania, there was very much a feeling that if you were coming up from NXT, then you'd be on the main roster as you are, and you'd carry on through there. Obviously, now all those fears that there'll be more meddling as you leave one and comes the other, that feeling of uncertainty comes back once again. Now, other talent have shrugged this off. Which is worth pointing out, feeling that they always suspected that all roads would lead back here. And to be honest, Ross, I think we both kind of thought eventually we'd see Vince in a more, him saying, I'm just coming back to help the sale and then I'll definitely leave.
Is that thing, it's the head and the heart, isn't it, Tom? The head thought it would, but the heart was like, this is really nice, this sequential storytelling, longer term storytelling in the important bits of the card, and now it looks like maybe that's just all going to go away.
Well, amongst the stuff that did happen on Raw last night, we had a return onto the roster, didn't we?
Yeah, Matt Riddle came back last night. Nice to see him looking so well, even though, he knows that Dana White is now like at the top of the business once again that he's a part of, which would be a hard thing for him to swallow. But he came out, the Miz was out there saying, after what happened to him both nights of WrestleMania as the host, he had the match against Pat McAfee and that other American football boy. I've forgotten his name as I'm sat here right now, but he was a big impressive... George Kittle. Throw the Kittle at him. The surprise that happened there, then the wonderful surprise that happened on night 2 with Shane McMahon coming back and blowing out his quad.
WTF moments of WrestleMania Night 2 now available on the Cultaholic YouTube channel.
Tom, all the high things he's jumped off, and the one thing that wipes him out is a leapfrog. It's incredible. Right? But after all the surprises the Miz got thrown at him over WrestleMania weekend, he was done with surprises. And what happens? Another surprise. Matt Riddle comes down. A little bit of a bro Derek. That was just about it. No real progression. Just like a hello Riddle, how you doing?
Yeah, he's back on Raw next week competing against the Miz one-on-one. It'll be his first match since the summer of last year. So he'll be back into the mix properly from next week. Main event of Raw came just shortly after that with a tag match that was set up in the opening segment. Cody Rhodes teaming with Brock Lesnar to face Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. After the announcements were made for the contenders, Brock just picks up Cody and F5s him. Roman and Solo go, I'm out.
See you later.
I'm a head out.
The stipulation was put in place by Heyman and Roman at the start of the show that Cody must find himself a tag team partner, but that tag team partner would then not be able to challenge Roman Reigns for the uwu ever in the history of the world. And then Brock comes out, and Corey Graves made a good point in saying that Brock lost that right at SummerSlam last year. Apparently, when he lost that match at SummerSlam last year, he lost all future opportunities at Roman Reigns' uwu, which I completely forgot about. So that stipulation didn't apply to him. They're all being good pals at Cody and Brock, but then just as Tom said there, the match is about to start. F5 and then several more F5s. Cody takes one hell of an F5. His body's as straight as a dart.
He really does. He got an absolute shoe-in by Brock Lesnar in the closing segment of Raw, echoing the John Cena Brock Lesnar segment after WrestleMania 28.
Yeah.
And it ended with Brock briefly stood on the steps and saying hello to the crowd, with Cody completely prone underneath him. He left and then came back out, just flipped everyone off. I can't help but feel Vince went, go back out there and flip everyone off.
It's like Homer in the sandpit, wasn't it?
And what an appropriate way to end Raw with the Homer sandpit middle fingers. And WWE are very proud of when they start trending worldwide on social media. Worst Raw was trending in the top 5 on Twitter as the show went off the air last night. A lot of opportunities to really gain some momentum going into the new year. Many believe it's lost. I'm going to be the better obscure company.
I was going to say, Tom, I think they've set up Cody Rhodes quite well after what they did at WrestleMania.
Exactly.
It's a redemption story. He's got this massive ogre in the way of his comeback to Roman Reigns. I imagine he'll lose a match conclusively to Brock Lesnar, like horribly. Brock will just spaff all over his face. But then Cody will fight back, build his way back up, beat Brock Lesnar, and then get that second match against Roman Reigns, and then topple Roman Reigns, and it'll feel twice as much as it would have done at WrestleMania, maybe. I don't know.
There was some
scared of the comments today.
Well, do you know what? I kind of, with the greatest respect, sod it. Because, I kind of get it. There was a little scuttlebutt before WrestleMania that said that Cody's journey back, ripped off Peck aside, has been a bit too straightforward and easy. Like, you come out number 30 in the Rumble and you win it, and then you never look weak at all in the run up to WrestleMania. So maybe this is going to be the way that we get him there again with gumption. I can't help but feel that the big money was missed, but this is still fine. Yeah. I'm all right with this story up with Brock and Cody having a fight. You know what? Let's do it. It's a match we've not seen before with Brock Lesnar. I'm intrigued to see how it goes down. I like the idea of, say, Brock just clattering him and then Cody coming back and having to fight back from underneath. There's a nice story there that can be told.
I tell you what the crucial bit is, because it felt like the crescendo was like a natural point at WrestleMania 39. It's what Roman Reigns does. If they can keep that sort of level in the story, not just sort of like take that deep dive where people start to resent Roman Reigns holding the titles for the wrong reasons, if they can keep that sort of nice, because it's been at a good level for a long while. Hopefully it doesn't take a nosedive, because it felt like, as I said, that natural crescendo was happening at WrestleMania.
One to keep an eye on as we continue on what is going to be a wild week in the world of wrestling. I want to end by sending our best wishes to the friends and family of Robert Miller, who we all know and love as Bushwhacker Butch. Butch passed away yesterday at the age of 78. An amazing career behind him, part of the sheep herders across the circuit, but then really came to the fore as one half of the Bushwhackers in the WWF in the 80s, the 90s.
Yeah, that's one thing fans of my vintage would always hear, that the sheep herders were evil, horrible bastards that came to the NWA, and then from the NWA just went to the WWE, and then went through that sort of the babyface turn and just became beloved superstars. You think about the Royal Rumble elimination, all that sort of stuff, and it's just, they are just, one of the legends of the business, aren't they, as an act. So, yeah.
I was very lucky to get to chat to Luke and Butch the other year about plans they had for a comeback and to do like a world tour. And they told the story about how Vince McMahon took them into a meeting with the height of them being the sheep herders, like the blood and guts sheep herders. And Vince went, I want to make you guys to family-friendly good guys. And I think it was either Luke or Butch who jumped on the table and said, if you can make this face into a lovable face, then you'll have my support. So like they didn't believe at any point that they could somebody could take the sheep herders and make them into beloved baby face, but WWF certainly did, and we send our best wishes to the family of Robert Miller, friends and family of Robert Miller, Bushwhacker Butch, who we lost on this day. We'll have more wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.